Titanic Tuesday is June 18, 2013, and you are on another episode of Entreview with your host, Grace Carion. And today we have an import, not in the NBA sports arena, but all the way coming from Manila. And he is in Baguio, thankfully, today, because we have an important topic to discuss, which is really of bearing in a lot of activities that has been going on in the immigration department and in people trying to, or in places where people are trying to improve and search for greener pastures overseas. And this is, of course, Immigration Network Services Incorporated, which is located at La Azotea building along Session Road, the business that we're going to feature on our show today. And INS is, of course, an international consultation firm which assists prospective clients in the matter of acquiring or obtaining their permanent overseas resident visa status. Please welcome on the show today no less than an accredited migration representative of the Bureau of Immigration, the paralegal of Sagada Law Office, and of course the immigration lawyer of Immigration Network Services Incorporated, the dashing Mr., or as should I say, Attorney Tirso Sagada.
Hi, Grace.
Hello, Tirso.
Hi, Grace.
Welcome to Sky TV 12 and 61, and this is your debut appearance on the show.
Yes.
And on the channel itself. Okay. Marami pong salamat, sir, ha, at pinaunlakan nyo kami sa iyong napaka-hectic and toxic schedule. Of course, as an immigration agent. We call you that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sir Tirso, batiin mo po ang ating mga kaibigan na ang last name ni Sir Tirso ay Sagada. Na malapit-lapit dito sa Baguio City.
Okay.
Pero baka sabihin, sa kanya ba ang
Okay.
Sagada? So, ang mga Baguio and La Trinidad residents natin na nanonood ngayon.
Actually, my Zagada is letter Z. So, it's not S. So, hindi yun amin.
Okay. So, it's Z pala.
Z Zagada, yes.
Z Zagada.
Okay. Binabati ko po lahat ng kababayan ko dito sa Baguio.
Okay.
Binabati ko po kayo lahat and welcome to this interview.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes, of course. And matagal ko na talagang nililigawan ang Baguio branch ninyo na mag-guest sa akin show, and finally, pinaunlakan niyo po ang aming imbitasyon. Attorney, pag-usapan po muna natin a little bit about, pwede ba po, we'll delve into a little bit of your background muna bago natin syempre pag-usapan what does INS Incorporated do?
Yeah.
And what services you provide and other pertinent details about it.
Yes.
Yes, of course, kayo po ay ilang years na po tayong immigration lawyer, sir?
Okay. Actually, I've been working with INS for the past 12 years. But INS, as an immigration consultancy firm, has been existing for the past, turning 19.
19?
Actually, 19 years. This July 14, yeah, it's our anniversary. And we are an international consultancy firm, and our objective is to assist people in getting a visa. So it's both immigrant and non-immigrant visa. So that's our business.
That's your business. And of course, prior to that, scholastically po, ano po yung history ni Attorney Tirso Zagada?
Just call me Tirso. Anyway,
Tirso.
I'm a graduate of law, and I also taken Philippine Immigration Law in Philippine Immigration Academy. And I've been with INS for 12 years, and I studied the foreign immigration law of the countries. Kasi we actually have foreign migration lawyers, pero hindi sila all the time nasa Pilipinas. So actually, I'm the one taking their place whenever they're not here in the Philippines. So I'm doing all the seminars all over the country for our foreign migration lawyers.
Okay. And of course, so you have been with INS for 12 years, sabi niyo po. So kayo po ay isa sa naging, siguro masasabi nating shock absorbers for the long period of time. Kasi po, sabi nga ang slogan po ninyo is you take the migraine out of migration.
Yes.
Okay, sa mga cases na that you handle. Okay, and of course, you are also a pastoral lecturer.
I'm involved with the ministry. I'm also doing some preaching in the church. Involved din ako.
Yes.
Sa isang church.
Napakaganda namang kombinasyon nun, ano? Kasi, di ba, you immigration law and then you also
our service to God
do
in the
services. Wonderful. Kaya po siguro maraming mga buhay ang nababago ng INS is through kay Attorney Tirso Sagada. Okay. Immigration Network Services Incorporated has how many branches po locally, and also it's an international company. So.
Yes, actually, we have 14 branches all over the Philippines, and we have sa Sydney, that's yung boss ko kasi is an Australian, Filipino-Australian, based in Sydney. And our main office is in Ayala, that's in Madrigal Building, Vicente Madrigal. That's third floor of Vicente Madrigal, main office namin.
Okay. And when we talk about it as a consultancy firm,
Yes.
okay, what is the scope of this consultancy service that you give po?
As a consultancy firm on the matter of immigration or visa application, we actually conduct immigration seminar first to different provinces for the purpose of giving information on how to get a visa. Then right after the orientation, we conduct one-on-one consultation or interview for the purpose of assessing or evaluating yung qualification ng aplikante, kasi that's the most important part for the applicant to know their eligibility. Kasi pag hindi qualified, we discourage them to apply kasi sayang lang ng pera at time. So after the consultation, we also discuss to them yung mga fees, the processing time, and the application procedure. Then at the latter part of the seminar, we are encouraging the applicant if they want to retain the services of our company. Kasi iba pa rin kapag may immigration lawyer na nag-handle ng application for them to avoid delays or worse, denial. Kasi marami na di-deny doon sa tinatawag na self-filed application.
Right, okay. And in 1994, in Makati City, July 14 to be exact, this particular establishment has been founded, right?
Yes,
And so 19 years na po siya.
Yes, at ang aming boss ay Australian-Filipino. Yan, with April Cruz.
Australian-Filipino pala. Ma'am April Cruz.
Filipino-Australian.
Filipino-Australian. Hello, Ma'am April Cruz. Sana
April
mapanood
Cruz.
niya ang
Hi,
ating
Ninang.
interview na to. Naku, Ninang pala. Okay. Alright, malapit ng Pasko. And what was at the back of the minds of the incorporators of Immigration Network Services when they conceptualized or they came up po with this particular institution way back 1994?
Actually, the reason why INS was created, that was 19 years ago, is that a lot of people are actually doing the application by themselves, by way of a self-filed application. At maraming nadi-deny talaga, Grace. Kasi wala silang alam. And although it's in the internet, you cannot actually ask personal questions sa mga visa officer. So what the officer is saying, go to our website. At mahirap din maintindihan ang immigration law because it's very technical. Kaya yun, na-create ang INS as a private consultancy agency because we have foreign consultants for US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom. And they're the one giving advice to the applicant, those who are attending our seminar, on how to make a proper application, again, for them to avoid delays or worse, denial.
Okay, so talaga naman po meron kayong service orientation pala, yan ang Immigration Network Services. And especially, of course, yung ating, technological advancement would include din yung ating pagiging mobile, no? We move not only from one locality to another, on one region to another, pero ngayon nga, since I think 30 years ago, nung nag-umpisa ang ating labor export din, labor exportation din natin, and this is something that that Filipinos are very much yung characteristic of yung paglipat-lipat ng kanilang employment, of course, not only locally but also internationally. So, ang pinaka-market po therefore ng INS, sabi nyo kasi kanina, for immigrant and non-immigrant visa, would be who po? Ano ang ating ang market clientele po ng INS?
Actually, it's interesting because whenever the embassy during the interview asked, why do you want to immigrate? Makita mo na isa lang talaga ang pinaka-common answer, and that is for people who are seeking greener pasture.
Right.
Yan ang palaging sagot. Kaya sabi ng visa officer sa amin, I wonder if Filipinos are cows. They like a greener pasture. So it's more of economic and employment.
Right.
So yun ang pinaka-basic need ng Pinoy for economic reason.
Right.
Why they want to go out of the country. And you know, Grace, it's interesting because here in the Philippines, we've been known for having the second highest migrant sending. We're the highest, second migrant
Second
sending
highest.
country after Mexico.
Okay.
And can you imagine, based on the statistics ng POEA and DFA, almost an average of 3,800 Filipinos are leaving the country every day. Di pa dito
Wow,
kasama yung mga tourist visa. These are just
Oo.
working and immigrant visa. They're leaving the country. And you know, nakakalungkot din because you know the bad side of immigration is that we're losing the talented, the skilled and the brightest people of the Philippines. We lost them.
Right.
Nag-abroad kasi you have to understand, yung mga pinapaalis namin talaga are the cream and the you know the crop of the people of the Philippines. Talaga mga talented sila, mga professional. But
Right.
you know, we cannot prevent them of leaving kasi for economic reason talaga.
Right.
They want to seek greener pasture abroad.
Seek greener pastures. I, for one, would be a testimonial to that sinasabi natin na fleeting, F-L-E-E-T-I-N-G, open and close quotation
Yeah,
mark,
yeah.
inclination ng mga tao. Sabi mo nga to seek greener pasture because I've also been away for about 9.5 years and I went to the Grand Cayman Islands. Ang aking palang mga friends ay darating ngayong July from the Grand Cayman Islands para magbakasyon. So, to the Mendoza family, I'm looking forward to having you on my show. And speaking of which po, alam ko po yung sinasabi ninyo, naiintindihan ko na number one talaga po na push factor is for economic mobility, no? Okay, and eventually social mobility. But I would say po na ang ating tinatawag na yung brain and sabi nga nila brain and brawn drain na nangyayari because of the labor exportation. Para sa akin po is basta po may magandang foundation ang mga Pinoy na yung nasa puso ba nila is hindi naman nila iniiwan ang Pilipinas kung hindi para sa Pilipinas din ang ginagawa then it is not really a negative thing.
Ang maganda dyan, sa lahat na napaalis namin, you know, we are actually encouraging them to give back to the Philippines, especially dollar remittances.
Yes.
Kasi, you know, it's the one that keeps our economy afloat.
Right.
So, we're telling them that you are the modern day hero.
Yes.
Kapag napaalis naman kayo, please remit your dollars to the Philippines. At nakakatuwa. Kasi ang Pilipinas ngayon, I think we're the third dollar remittance receiving country after Mexico and India. So, yun lang ang good side of our business.
Wow, okay. That's wonderful. So talagang nare-reap din ang efforts, no? We reap the fruits of our efforts pala through INS. And also you have alliances. That's why it's an international consultancy firm. Because you're a bona fide member of also various international organizations. Like what are these organizations?
These are the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, Australia, New Zealand, the US Chamber of Commerce, the Makati Business Club. Member yung company namin on that alliances. And that alliances in terms of our foreign migration lawyers, kasi we cannot operate without them. We have an accredited lawyers for each countries kasi I'm actually doing the Philippine immigration and my work is actually inbound migration. So as far as outbound migration is concerned, that's being handled by our foreign lawyers. Yan.
Okay, so yung papasok po, papasok po sa Pilipinas ang
because
yung
I'm an accredited Philippine immigration lawyer.
Philippine immigration lawyer, yes. And for the overseas permanent resident status po, which countries po are part of your domain po?
We're processing visas for US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom, and Schengen visa for the Schengen countries.
And Schengen countries include?
These are actually 25 countries members
nakarami.
of the European Union. So hindi ko ma-memorize.
Okay. So Europe siya.
European, yes.
Okay. So ang dami pala, no? US, Canada, New Zealand, you said Australia, right?
Yes.
Australia, United Kingdom, and the Schengen territories. And the Philippines kasi, di ba?
Philippine
Ikaw ay yung
immigration.
inbound immigration lawyer natin. Wow. Okay, we have a lots more to talk about para po sa ating mga viewers na nanonood. You can text our numbers on screen. We have a Globe and Smart number for your queries, your comments, okay? And also, marami pong mga encumbrances ngayon ng pag-alis ng bansa at pagpasok sa bansa. Kaya ito pong pagkakataon nyo para matanong si Attorney Tirso Zagada ng Immigration Network Services Incorporated. When we come back, we're going to tackle yung ano po ang mga main services po ng consultancy firm na ito. And pag meron kayong mga katanungan ngayon na encounter yung mga problema, maring masagot po. Attorney Tirso Zagada, okay, of Immigration Network Services Incorporated. And of course, he is here to enlighten us on the services that INS Incorporated gives to our, of course, mga Filipino citizens natin at ang mga, syempre, pati mga gustong pumunta sa ibang bansa. And ang inbound migration din natin, kaya yung mga nasa ibang bansa naman po sa ating mga relatives and friends dito sa Baguio City na may mga katanungan kung paano po sila makabalik dito or makapasyal kasi tourist visa.
Yeah.
They also cater to tourist visas. Ito po ang pagkakataon niyo upang makinig at ating makapanayam si, of course, Tirso. Tawagin ko na lang daw siyang Tirso. Although malayo ang kanyang looks kay Tirso Cruz dahil mas gwapo siya. Hindi ka naman related kay Ma'am April Cruz, di ba?
Hindi.
Okay. So, ang isa pong nakaka-entice sa mga features po ng INS Incorporated is the fact that you are known for your unique personalized service.
Yes.
Could you please elaborate on that para po sa ating mga viewers?
It's a unique personalized service in the sense that whenever we conduct seminar, you will see that each applicants has actually their own concern, immigration concern. So, as we give the individual assessment, talagang personalize yung dealing namin sa kanila, not as a whole. Kasi you have to understand that in this application, there are different categories or options that the applicant can consider. Halimbawa, kapag mga non-immigrant visa, so it could be a student visa, it could be a tourist. Tourist visa is actually the most commonly used non-immigrant visa, and we have working visa. Then when we go to immigrant visa, there are actually 5 options then. So individualized then. So if the applicant has relatives, so they might opt for a family petition. So that's the pathway to immigrant visa. So permanent resident din siya, yun nga lang petition by parents. So for those with money, they can apply for investor's visa. So those with money, so commonly mga kliyente namin diyan mga Indian nationals at mga Chinese businessmen. We also have the refugee or asylum, pero it's not commonly used here in the Philippines. But and we have the work to residence visa, but the commonly used immigrant visa is yung tinatawag na skilled migration category, kasi Filipinos are actually known for being professional, having skill. So, it's a skilled migration category. So, yung category ng skilled migration, maganda to, Grace, kasi they don't need to have a relative or they don't even need to have a job order sa skilled migration. Kaya, you have to understand, our company is not a recruitment agency kasi we don't need the applicant to have a job order. Ang qualification for you to meet the requirements under the skilled migration is under a selection criteria and it's points tested. So basically, you get the visa if you meet the pass mark. So ganon. So ang ginagawa namin, we check their qualification, magko-compute kami. But actually, you will check that in the internet na maraming point system siya, different criteria involved, pero there are actually 5, the way I see it, 5 criteria na mandatory na meron dapat ang aplikante. And that is, they should have the work experience, they should have taken the English test, the IELTS, paid experience, the academic qualification or skill assessment, meet the pass mark, at ito ang pinakalagang criteria, your occupation should be in the demand list. So there are only certain occupations qualified to apply. If what you're doing is not listed, you cannot apply. The only remedy is for you to get a job order or a job offer.
From the
country.
Destination country.
Yes. So, kaya ang ginagawa namin during the assessment, for those who are listening out there, you have to check the occupations list first. If what you are doing is in demand in the country. Kasi sabi kasi ng bansa, kahit wala kang job order, basta may demand lang kami. Kaya ang ginagawa namin, we just give them the visa, then pagdating doon, sila na lang naghahanap ng trabaho.
Wow!
Yes.
Okay.
They have the visa, immigrant, they can work.
Alright. So, ibig sabihin, ganun pala kayo ka-concern sa need nung client ninyo. The fact that kung ano lang yung in demand, that's the one that you
Yes.
encourage them. No, that qualifies them to go to that country.
Is the one identifying
Finding
the demand.
the demands in the place
Yes.
where they are destined to
That's
go.
it. That's true.
Great. Okay. And of course, yung nasabi niyo po yan na personalized and customized or individualized program, you do that in your regular seminars and orientations and
yes.
assessments.
Direct consultation.
And here in Baguio City, of course, ginagawa natin yan on a regular basis,
yes,
di ba?
actually almost every month.
Almost
we have the
every
seminar.
month.
Yes,
Okay, once a
oo.
month, I believe, meron
Oo.
tayo
Kaya
niyan.
ako nandito kasi
Kaya
we have
ka
a seminar this morning.
Yes. And siguro every time na nandito ka na is dapat dumalaw ka sa amin dito sa studio.
Next time, Father's Day naman.
Father's Day naman. Oo, yan ang gusto kong angulo na mapag-usapan natin, nakakaiba. Pero yun din siguro ang rason kaya meron kang personalized service kagaya ng service ni Ma'am Marites Madrid na makakasama natin mamaya ng konti.
Yes.
Of course, here also you have what we call the engagement to settlement package. Could you tell us more about that?
The engagement to settlement kasi there are some clients na walang relative.
Okay.
So ang concern lang nila, when I apply, saan ako pupunta? So if you actually engage the services of INS, part ng services namin yung integration and settlement support or advice. So we can actually ask somebody there na pwedeng tumulong sa kanila sa paghanap ng trabaho, paghanap ng bahay, yon at yung pag-orient doon sa place. So part na yan ng services namin. So it's a one-stop shop application
One-stop shop.
actually.
Oo, kasi lalo na yung naku-culture shock yung mga
Lalo na yung walang
mga kababayan
kamag-anak.
natin.
Walang problema doon sa may mga relatives.
Oo.
Kasi at least somebody is there to help them.
To help you. Mahirap naman if you will be like exposed to a strange environment
Yeah.
for the first time and maraming pwedeng mangyari, 'di ba? And especially sa lugar na hindi mo alam, it's alien to you. Ako nga nung una kong pag-alis papunta ibang bansa, nawala ako sa first day. Pero napakaliit lang nung island ha. It's even smaller than Baguio City and nawala pa ako dahil ang dami mga ins and outs, mga inroads rather na dapat mong daanan. And that could also be an experience that would ano ba tawag doon? May lalagay ang isang Pinoy sa isang experience na magiging magkakaroon ng effect dun sa stay niya doon later on kapag yung lost ka somehow. So you have alienated ka and so you also parang give them a sense of belongingness right away,
Yes.
Kaya engagement to settlement package. And also there is a rigid preparation for them. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, preparation in terms of the documents facilitation.
Okay.
In gathering all the documents. And if it requires IELTS exam, so kasi part of the criteria is for them to pass the English test, so they can actually give them review. Kasi meron kaming companies taking care of the IELTS review, which is the CIA, that's Center for, International Academy. So it's an
CIA.
CIA, yeah. So we can, and also document facilitation, and at the same time, if it requires interview, we also conduct practice or the mock interviews.
The mock interviews.
Yes.
You did mention to me the waived interview.
Yes,
Ano
but we go for a waived interview.
Waived interview.
Yan ang sabi ng boss namin si April Cruz. Kailangan we go for the waived interview. And it's good kasi most of our clients doesn't have to attend an interview kasi na-waive. Kasi kung ang dokumento mo ay kompleto, the embassy will no longer invite you for a personal appearance. So they will just simply decide on your case.
Wow, and that saves time, effort, and money.
Yes.
Wow, so napaka cost-efficient and cost-effective pala ng proseso ng INS. And kanina, when I was there at Cafe Venice, Cafe Venice, yung venue,
Venice
yun po
Hotel.
ang usual venue po ng
Venice Hotel.
Venice Hotel, ng INS orientations. Nakita ko ang mga faces ng iyong mga clients kung gaano sila kaseryoso sa kanilang pinapasukan. So, maganda na meron kagaya po ninyo, sir, na nakakaramdam ng pulso ng mga umaalis papuntang ibang bansa
Yeah.
right from the very beginning,
Tama.
kasi you don't have to go through a lot of yung mga bureaucracy. 'Di ba?
tape.
Bureaucracy or red tape through INS. Okay, mamaya kasi pag-uusapan po natin kung anong mga services ninyo in particular, because we have a local office po which is located at La Azotea building, and that's anong floor ba 'yon? Third floor. Okay, third floor, and baka magulat kayo, baka akala nyo beauty pageant ang beauty pageant contestant ang magiging guest ko. Ako mismo nung una kong nasilayan ang kagandahan ni Miss Marites, sabi ko, sino naman kaya ang hindi mag-a-apply dito, lalo na kapag siya ay isang Sir Panching. Okay, intermission lang po yan, sir. Ano? Mayroon tayong mga katanungan, and
Sure,
ang isa
sige.
sa katanungan po natin, sir, is gaano po ba kahirap ngayon na mag-apply ng tourist visa dun sa particular sa mga bansa na nabanggit ninyo? And of course, a lot of my friends are really going to Canada. Okay, Canada and United Kingdom. So, ano po ba ang sitwasyon ngayon na pagdating po sa pag-apply doon ng tourist visa?
Yes, actually, tourist visa is the commonly used non-immigrant visa of all the non-immigrant visa. And when you apply for tourist visa, alam mo, Grace, sabi ng visa officer sa amin, they're not really particular in knowing your purpose or intention. Why do you want to enter their country? But what the embassy or visa officer wants to know are your reasons why you need to return back to the Philippines. Kasi ganito yan, when you are applicant for a tourist visa, the presumption under immigration law is that magti-TNT ka. Yun ang TNT is tago ng tago.
Yeah.
So that's the presumption. And the unos or the burden of overcoming that presumption lies on you. So ikaw magdi-disprove, hindi ako magti-TNT. So you need to give them reasons of your normally it's social, economic, and family ties here in the Philippines. So what are economic ties? It could be your business, bank account, a good paying job. It's not only mere a job, but a good paying job na talagang babalik ka because you have that good paying job. Others are, we have the family ties. Kaya alam mo, yung single, lalo na ikaw, single ka. To their mind, you are a potential TNT kasi you can always get married there and never return. That's their concern. Oo, kaya nakakalamang pa rin yung may mga mga asawa at pamilya dito sa Pilipinas for being married. And also your reason, kasi hindi lang maintindihan ng US and Canadian Embassy for those who are coming there to their country na magtutour na hindi pa nakapag-tour sa Asian country. Kasi it's really impractical na how come that you're traveling very far, going to the US? Kasi minsan nagtatanong ang visa officer, why do you want to go to the US? Sasabihin nila, I want to see the Disneyland, the Golden Gate Bridge. At sasabihin ng visa officer, your passport is clean. So, have you traveled to Hong Kong or Singapore? Walang visa doon eh. Sabi niya, no. So why travel very far? You go to Hong Kong. You go to Singapore. Hindi pa nga nila napuntahan yung malapit. Gusto nilang pumunta na malayo. Yun. Very, very subjective. I would say, very subjective. So it's the overall case. Hindi ibig sabihin na marami kang pera sa bangko, pero yung pera mo just deposited a week ago, mas gusto pa nila yung may transaction na makita nila na talagang intact yung perang yan, na kuha mo yan in a series of transactions. So yan ang commonly na karamihan denial based on their ability to convince the consul na babalik sila sa Philippines.
Sa Pilipinas. So hindi yung purpose ng pag-alis kung hindi po ang rason na babalik ka pa. Babalik ka pa.
Reasonable din yung purpose nila.
Yung purpose nila na pag-alis. Tama po yung sinabi nyo. Kaya pala ako pinayuhan ng friend ko before na bago ka pumunta sa US, kailangan may mga tatak yung passport mo nang pumunta ka na sa Hong Kong, sa Singapore, Malaysia, nearby countries.
I have to comment on that kasi meron naman kaming isang kliyente when he was denied or participant, attendee, na he was denied for tourist visa at sabi ng visa officer, oh, you've never been to Singapore, Hong Kong. So, ang ginawa niya, nung na-deny, pumunta ng Hong Kong, madalas, madami, Singapore. Nung bumalik siya, he was denied again. Kasi
Bakit naman?
the purpose, the intention is for the applicant to get a tourist visa. So pumunta muna siya ng Hong Kong. Sabi ng visa officer, maybe you don't like Hong Kong but you like to work in the US. Kaya pumunta ng Hong Kong. Bad motive. Wrong
Okay,
motive
wrong
of going
motive.
to Hong Kong. So mas maganda kung you've been to Hong Kong the following year, the next year you go to Singapore, na talagang you really love to travel. You want tourism or pleasure.
Right.
Ngayon, since you've been there, gusto mo naman pumunta na malayo.
Okay, kasi that way parang ang may establish doon is yun nga you're a frequent traveler. So going to the US, UK or Canada is just one of the options
Yes,
that
that's
you would
right,
like
that's
to undertake. Okay, we're going to be back after this break. We're bringing to you, of course, the branch coordinator of Immigration Network Services Incorporated, no less than the beautiful Miss Marites Madrid, joining us, and still with Tiso Zagada of INS Incorporated. All right, we're back to Entreview, and this time we are being joined in by the branch coordinator of Immigration Network Services Incorporated. We're still talking about, of course, inbound and outbound migration, and in the presence of Mr. Tirso Zagada. Please welcome the beautiful Miss Marites Madrid. Hello, Ma'am Tess.
Hello. Hello sa mga
Yes.
taga Baguio.
Mga taga Baguio and yes,
Hindi ako marunong.
ng Ilocano, ano, ng Ilocano. Yes, of course, kutis na kutis pa lang ni Miss Marites, ako ay naaaninag ko na ang kanyang pusong migration. Oh, di ba? Okay, di ba, Tirso, no? Okay. And of course, it's the first time for people siguro to see on local TV din si Miss Marites Madrid, and siya, however, is a familiar face sa napakaraming kliyente ng Immigration Network Services Incorporated dyan sa Mayla Azotea.
Yes.
Okay, ang pag-uusapan naman natin, Tirso and Marites, this time would be, una muna ikaw, kasi yung mga services ba na binibigay ng branch ng INS, gaano siya ka-comprehensive? So, kapag ako ay gustong kumuha ng visa, let's say papunta ako sa Canada, okay? Ngayon, ano ang unang-una kong gagawin? Of course, pag nalaman kong ito ang opisina ni Marites.
Unang-una, ina-encourage namin yung kliyente, of course, na mag-attend ng seminar orientation namin para rin ma-assess yung qualifications ng kliyente. Para hindi rin masayang yung application niya kasi nga since maraming ang visa categories.
Okay.
Yun yung unang-una. So and then kung qualified ang kliyente after the one-on-one assessment with our immigration specialist or consultant, so sinasabi namin kung ano yung mga services na binibigay namin, and then pati yung mga fees, professional fees, dinidiscuss namin sa kliyente, pati yung processing time, lahat na para maintindihan din nila kung gaano katagal ang proseso ng application. Kung halimbawa Canada, iba rin yan, Australia, iba rin yung processing time. So, pinapaintindi talaga muna namin lahat sa kanila, and then tinatanong namin sila if ready na ba sila talaga to engage in our services. Ganun
So
siya.
talaga ini-establish pa ninyo yung readiness level ng
Yes,
ng
oo.
tao. Why is that? Bakit kailangan na ganun ang gawin?
Usually kasi yung iba, pumupunta lang para mag-inquire, gusto nila mag-abroad, ganyan. For information lang. Pero pagdating sa financial, yun, alam naman natin na kung minsan hindi pala sila ready. Meron pala silang financer na kailangan tanungin, or talagang hindi sila ready pa talaga, lalo na yung iba akala nila sandali lang, madali lang. Pero syempre, it takes time din pag yung proseso. Kailangan sundin din natin yung processing time ng mga embassies. So yun, na-explain namin sa kanila, if ready na talaga sila, then go na.
Then go na. Kasi once na nag-umpisa sila, Marites, tuloy-tuloy na yun. No? There's no turning back.
Yes, dapat
ba yan?
ganon. Wag
Oo.
yung parang pabago-bago sila ng isip.
Isip pa bago-bago ng
As much as
isip.
possible, dapat focus din sila.
Pero marami bang ganun?
Meron din konti.
Meron.
Oo, meron at meron din. Oo.
Oo.
Na parang halfway na tayo, biglang magbaback out, ganyan. Because of financial, parang ganyan, problem. Oo.
Financial problems na encounter nila. Okay. Pero bakit ako kailangang pumunta pa sa INS Incorporated? Ano ang rason? Pwede ko bang hindi ko ba pwedeng gawin yun on my own? Or humingi ng tulong sa mga naandun na, ng mga kamag-anak ko sa ibang bansa? Why do I have to go to you?
Actually, ang kagandahan naman kasi sa INS, we offered a complete package of services. So, unang-una nga, sinabi natin na we act as your legal representative in all immigration matters. Kumbaga sa kami yung magiging official representative ninyo sa application nyo. either Canada, Australia, New Zealand, o yan, sa mga kinikaters namin company. Second, we handle your case in a very professional manner. In accordance with the immigration law rin ng mga countries na to. Second, yun nga, pinaprepare din namin yung client for an official interview. Yun nga, nabanggit ni attorney, pinapractice interview namin sila rigidly. Kumbaga sa para rin ma-prepare sila at very confident silang haharap sa mga visa officer at ma-increase natin yung chances of approval nila. And then also, pag meron na silang medical notice, syempre arrange din natin yung kanilang medical examination with a licensed medical practitioner. Meron din dito sa Baguio tayo nun. And then, pagka may visa na, of course, bigyan din natin sila i-assist din natin sila when it comes to booking nung tickets nila. As part of INS services, pwede rin kaming mag-book ng travel tickets nila in a lowest rate.
Wow.
And then also, ang kagandahan din, bibigyan din namin sila na, yun nga, settlement and integration advice before sila aalis. I-orient natin sila kung anong country yung pupuntahan nila. Baka pagdating nila winter, tapos sa mga dala nilang damit, for example, ay maninipis lang. Parang kailangan i-orient natin sa parang hindi sila culture shock. Ganyan. At ang lastly, yun nga, ang mga immigration lawyers namin, hindi lang naman Filipinos, meron din kaming foreign immigration lawyers na makakapagbigay ng advice sa kanila. And then lastly, ito ang pinaka-importante, meron kaming transfer option.
Okay.
Yung transfer option, if ever kami ang nag-process ng papers nila, worst scenario na na-refuse or na-deny, ang kagandahan, pwede namin i-appeal yon for them or i-refile natin yung case nila. Kumbaga sa we find ways kung ano pa yung pwede namin itulong sa nila until ma-deliver namin yung services na gusto namin ibigay sa kanila. Kumbaga sa meron silang fallback option.
May fallback options. Napaka-extensive po ng services pala ng INS. Nabanggit kanina ni Marites ang pagiging legal representative ng INS ng mga gustong pumunta sa ibang bansa o pumasok dito sa Pilipinas. Attorney, ano po ba ang mga of late po, recently, ang mga usual po na mga scams na na-experience po ng ating mga migrants na nakakatulong po ng malaki ang INS para ma-resolba or para maiwasan?
Sa experience namin, since we are not a recruitment agency, I usually advise the applicant for them to be wary be wary with certain agencies na nagbibigay ng job order. Kasi yung iba kasi is really enticing the applicant na merong job order dito, may work ito. Kasi sa ginagawa namin, since we are not a recruitment agency, it's purely on the visa application, immigration visa application. Sabi ko nga kanina, it's points tested. So it's under a selection criteria. And what's interesting about the selection criteria or the independent skilled category, where almost 80% of our clients qualify talaga, is that there is no need of an employer and there's no need for you to have a relative. So 70 to 80% of our clients doesn't have relative, doesn't have employer, pero nabigyan sila ng visa because they meet the threshold requirements and the pass mark.
And the pass mark,
Yes,
okay.
kasi point system nga
Point
siya.
system. Point system ang ginagamit.
Yes, tapos doon sa sinabi nga kanina ni Tess, bakit INS? May kasabihan kasi, Grace, na what you don't know might hurt you.
Yes.
Yung iba, nalulungkot ako during the seminar, almost may 20 to 30% yan, mga na-deny na. Kung chinek namin, yung reason ng denial, nakakalungkot. Very trivial, very, blunder mistake. It's a blunder na konting yung yes, nagawang no, mali yung occupation, during the interview, mali yung sinagot. Kaya dito talaga nakakatulong ang INS through our immigration representative at yung binibigay naming coaching, how to make a proper application.
Okay, so guided ang ating mga applicants from start to finish ang sinasabi mo. And of course, yan din that would make them avoid even yung mga fraudulent na mga na mga propagators natin ng fraudulence when it comes to migration. Okay, ayan. Okay. May isa tayong katanungan, Marites, kung masasagot mo rin ito. Paano ba yun kapag if you're being sponsored to go overseas by a relative? Sa ngayon po ba, ganun ba kadali? Or ganun ba ano? And through INS siguro, napapadali ba siya at all? Kapag you're being sponsored by a relative to go to United States in particular.
Siguro higit na makakasagot niya si attorney.
Okay, oo.
Legal ano na siya.
Sige, oo.
Sa sponsorship, especially ng relatives, specifically about US immigration, you can only get a green card visa, which is they call that green card, yung immigrant visa nila, if you are a beneficiary of an approved sponsorship or approved petition. So
Okay.
dalawang klase ang petition sa Amerika. Either you are a petition from a relative or you are sponsored by an employer. So dalawa lang. There are two ways to get a visa to the US. Family sponsorship and employment sponsorship. Ngayon, Grace, ang nakakalungkot lang dito, ang US is subject to a quota. It's under a quota immigration.
Okay.
There is a certain limit for visa that the embassy is giving to the Philippines. Actually, the annual quota, I guess, all over the world is more or less 675,000 visas per year. That's worldwide quota.
Worldwide
Can you
quota.
imagine? And every countries are actually given 7% of that 675,000. Can you imagine? 7%
7%
na.
ang liit,
More or less, that's sa mga nasa 25, to be exact, 25,620 visas per year only. Yan lang ang binibigay. So, every year sa US Embassy, nagbibigay lang sila ng 25,620 immigrant visas per year. Ang naka-file sa US Embassy, more than 500,000. Can you imagine yung 500,000 will wait for the
For
25,000 on a first filed, first served basis.
Okay, first filed, first served.
Yes, kaya nakakalungkot, talking about family sponsorship, ang pinakamatagal ay yung kapatid ng US citizen, siblings of a US citizens. As of the priority date of this, kasi they give priority date eh. You know, priority date is just like a priority number. Diba? When you go to the
Sa bank.
the guard will give
Yes,
you number.
yeah.
So, kapag makakuha mong 100, that means you have to wait for 1 to 99 before you will be served.
Okay, yeah,
Diba?
yeah.
Ganun
yeah,
din.
oo.
May priority date din ang US Embassy. At nakakalungkot, yun na nga, for kapatid ng US citizen, they have to wait for 21 years. More or less, 21 years
Naku.
for their petition to be given a visa. O, ang walang quota lang, yung advantage, yung mga immediate relatives. These are the parents of a US citizen, the spouse, and the children of the US citizen. It's not subject to a quota.
Okay. Now, if that's the case of a particular person and he doesn't or he can't wait for 21 years, is there a remedy at all to that?
Yes.
That in the legal way, syempre.
Yes.
Oo.
So,
Ano ang dapat gawin doon?
Yes. Actually, the alternative remedy that we are offering is for them to be sponsored by an employer. Kasi
Okay.
mas mabilis yung employment petition kaysa family petition, especially talking about married children and siblings of a US citizen. Yun nga lang, medyo matagal pa rin based on the recent priority date. This month, they're giving more or less mga 5 to 6 years
Okay.
waiting. Kaya alam naman natin ang mga nurses in demand sa US.
Oo.
But the waiting time is 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
Oo, because again, this is subject to a quota. There is a limit.
There is
Mas
a limit.
oversubscribe kasi yung visa. Mas maraming nag-apply kaysa available visa.
Okay. Okay. When we're gonna come back, yung scenario sa iba't ibang bansa na nag-cater ang INS, tanungin lang natin kung ano yung mga in-demand na mga occupations doon,
yeah,
ano?
very good.
And also, so dun sa sinabi mong 5 years ang waiting kapag employment visa sa US. Why does everybody want to go to the USA?
Oh, of course. Alam naman natin ang US is been branded as the
Land of milk.
flowing milk and
Milk
honey.
and honey.
Diba?
Okay. Flowing pa rin
Land
ba?
of the door to the golden opportunity.
Wow, ang dami Okay, door to
Yeah,
door.
yeah.
Kaya
talagang
ganun, that's the
mabenta pa rin
reason.
talaga ang US.
Ang
But
US.
In our experience, Grace, ang Canada is actually open for immigration. Nakakatuwa. Last May 4, they just opened their immigration. May
Wow.
4 kasi it's been so, parang huminto sila for the past 1 year
Right.
because of the new immigration law.
Okay.
So, nag-open na sa noong May 4. Canada, Australia is also open. Yan,
Wow.
kadamihan ng mga aplikante namin is Canada
And Australia. And malalaman natin kung bakit Canada and Australia dahil 19 years na po ang INS on July 14 this year. Kaya abangan nyo po ang mga updates nila when we come back after this break. Yan, and dito pa rin po tayo sa ating interview with Attorney Tirso Zagada and Ms. Marites Madrid of Immigration Network Services Incorporated. At syempre po, meron po tayong Baguio branch dun po sa mga hindi nakakaalam. Located at La Azotea Building, third floor. Third floor, ayan. Sana lumaki pa ang ating opisina, no? Pero, yan po kasi I'm sure na after po ng guesting ni Miss Marites at ni Tirso, dadagsa ang mga clients natin na maraming queries at maraming gustong malaman regarding migration. And gusto ko lang i-emphasize, ang ating INS po, they provide uniquely individualized professional service na nabanggit kanina ni Ma'am Marites in the legal way. Kaya sila rin po ang ating legal representative. Napakabigat ng term na yan, Tirso and Marites, legal representative, kasi maraming mga anomalya na nabibiktima ang ating mga kapwa Pinoy na papalabas ng ibang bansa. Ngayon po, I'm sure marami ang interested na nag-iisip, ilang graduates ba ngayon this year? Ilan ang ating graduates kaya? Kasi itong March, ang dami na namang bagong graduates na, hindi sila gainfully employed, naghahanap ng trabaho o may trabaho man, but it's a mismatch of what they graduated from. Importanteng malaman po natin from Tirso and Marites, ano po ba ang mga jobs or occupations po na in demand sa mga bansa na kung saan po merong linkage ang INS. Starting off with, let's start with Canada kasi sabi mo nga, Tirso, kanina, bago na ang kanilang law. They're open to immigration. Tell us something about that more.
It's really interesting because Canada just opened their immigration for professional worker just last May 4. This year. But yung under the skilled trade person, nag-open na sila yung January. Kasi we have to classify yung skilled worker into two. Trade person and professional people or professional bachelor's degree holder. So with the trade person, nandun pa rin ang mga in demand for welder, chef, cook, carpenter. With professional person naman, yung may bachelor's degree, nag-open nung May 4 ang Canada. Actually, it's only how many occupation tests?
24.
That's
24
only 24
occupations.
So nakita nyo, it start with the demand. Only available 24 occupation. And again, the earlier you file it, the better. Kasi they're only giving 5,000 applicants for the 24 occupation. With per quota occupation is 300.
300.
So the earlier you file it, the better. Ano yung mga occupation?
Mostly
sa
mga
24?
engineers.
Engineers.
Lahat ng
For the first time, engineers are listed.
Okay.
Ano pa?
Yung mga medical
IT.
technologies, IT.
IT.
IT professionals.
For
Wow.
the past 3 occupations list, hindi malagay yung mga IT, mga
Totoo yan,
programmers.
totoo yan. So
Oo,
meron
sa
na
Australia lang, pero sa Canada nag-open na sila.
ng IT.
Yes,
Wow,
IT.
good news yan. Kasi,
Mga programmers, developer, software developer.
alright. Ang dami kaya nating mga graduates ng information technology this year at sa halos lahat ng mga universities. Kasi there was a time, what year was that, Marites, if you can recall, na yun ang in na course and then biglang
biglang
it
nawala.
died down,
Yes,
nawala,
so
di ba?
nawala sa list.
So, ayan, welcome back mga IT programmers and technicians, computer technicians sa Canada.
Sa Canada.
Sa
Also with
Meron din
RadTech,
RadTech.
and medical technologies.
medical technologies na rin.
Yes.
Okay, ang hinahanap nila. What about sa United Kingdom?
United Kingdom, actually, based on the point system, you cannot get the pass mark of, ang pass mark nila is 70 if you don't have an arranged employment. Job offer first.
So kailangan may job offer
mga
muna.
engineers, yan. Mga IT
Okay.
professionals is also there.
IT and
Pero
engineers.
sa pagko-compute namin ng point system under the tier 2, which is the highly skilled migrant, kailangan mong magkaroon muna ng employer.
Pagka highly skilled migrant,
Yes.
like what professions yun?
Yun, more on mga nasa engineers.
Engineers,
Yes,
engineers.
IT professionals.
IT professionals.
Yes.
Okay. Matanong ko lang din kasi siguro aram na rin ito ng mga karamihan pero yung sa nursing professionals natin, hindi ba bumabalik ang dating demand or talagang medyo nag-stagnate siya? sa ating mga nursing?
Actually, nawala sila sa listing.
Nawala ang
oo,
nurses?
Nawala
For
sila
the
sa
past
listing.
3-4 occupations list, hindi mawala ang nurses.
Nurse,
Registered
lagi
Nurses.
nandun. Lagi
Even
nandun.
yung licensed practical
Yes,
nurse.
opo.
Oo.
But this year, ano nangyari?
This year,
Nawala sa listing ang nurses, pero ang kagandahan naman nga, sinasabi namin sa kanila na hindi naman talaga nawawala ang nurses. Kaya lang, kumbaga sa ngayon, prioritize lang nila yung mga engineers.
Engineers
Yung
muna.
mga ganyan, oo.
It's partial
Pero-
list actually.
Partial
by
list.
installment. So 24 occupation muna. Kasi yung Canada kasi has been noted for having the long processing time. So
Okay.
ang target nila is to process it within 6 to 8 months, maximum of 1 year. Kaya naglabas na lang sila ng yung partial list nung 24 occupations.
Yes,
24 occupations muna. I think that's
So,
very
maybe in 3
rational.
to 6 months time baka lumabas yung mga nurses.
baka
Baka
bumalik
lumabas
sila.
ulit. Okay. So para hindi naman sila mawalan ng yung mga gustong magsilbi sa ating mga pasyente.
Yes, but in
Oo.
Australia,
In Australia,
yun nga.
demand pa rin.
In demand ang nursing.
Yan yung
Okay,
fallback
nurses.
option pagdating sa amin. oo.
And
Pwede sila
New
sa
Zealand.
Australia.
New Zealand also.
Nasa
Okay.
list pa rin sila.
Nasa list pa rin sila. Okay, and New Zealand is, what is in demand there ngayon?
Yeah. Because, New Zealand is more of agriculture.
Right, parang farm, okay,
Actually,
farming.
they have more ships than people.
Yes. Ako
Pero
tuloy gusto kong pumunta doon.
Yan, farm. So, more on dairy.
Dairy,
the
mga foresters.
Yes.
Farmers, sa mga
Yes.
nag-graduate ng agriculture
Oo,
and
mga sa
forestry, mga veterinarians,
Yes,
dito naman sa New Zealand.
yes.
Meron akong friend actually na nag-graduate ng BS Agriculture na nandun siya ngayon. And tama yung sinabi mo in dairy farm. And alam mo kung anong gusto ko doon, very pristine, yung environment, very tranquil, and ang nature is lush pa rin doon sa New Zealand. Yun ang gusto kong puntahan ng mga
5
lugar.
o'clock pa lang in the afternoon, sarado ng mall.
Sarado na ang mall ng 5. Ay, ayokong pumunta doon. Talaga lang So parang country life doon. O, meron bang since nabanggit natin yan, Tirso and Marites, meron din ba kayong connection, yung cultural orientation ng isang tao? Do you also find out about it para ma-place sila in a particular place?
That's what we're actually doing during the consultation.
Oo.
Kasi especially for those applicant na wala pang decided country
Oo.
or hindi pa nakapag-decide as to the country of their interest. So, we're the one deciding. We ask them kung anong klaseng country ang gusto nila. Depende pa rin sa occupation because it's subject to the occupation
Occupation, oo.
Kaya very personalized.
Right.
Pero yun nga, sinasabi ko, ang pinakamabenta pa rin is really Canada. It's really multicultural,
Right.
immigrant-friendly,
Immigrant
and also
friendly.
Australia.
And Canada and
Oo.
Australia pa rin. Yeah, I believe in the adaptability kasi of the Pinoy. Ang Pinoy kahit saan mo ilagay, flexible yan. But,
Very much.
pero sa akin pa rin is, it's more of following the heart ba. You will be effective if you have the passion for what you're doing and
Yes,
and partly siguro din if you have been equipped for it.
Yes.
No? So yun pa rin ang aking belief. So maganda yung ginagawa niyo talagang sa assessment.
Yes. We
Tinatanong
also
niyo
consider
lahat.
Grace yung relative nila, kung saan sila may relative. Kasi
Para
in terms of integration,
integration.
mas madali sila makapag-integrate.
Oo.
Kasi with the testimonies of our clients na walang support, support group, nahirapan talaga yung mga walang kakilala. Contact
Totoo
person.
yan.
Oo.
Totoo,
Kaya medyo
naniniwala
naawa
ako
kami. Kaya
dyan.
sabi namin, when we try to make an assessment, kailangan i-consider natin kung saan sila may family.
Family,
Kaya,
oo.
Saka ang maganda kasi, Grace, yung relative is also part of the point system. It will increase their chances. Kasi additional points ang may relative.
Pag may
That's
relatives
part
ka
of the
doon.
computation, Yes, kasi to the mind of the embassy, mas sila, adaptable.
Mas adaptable.
Pag may relatives sila.
Saka mas you feel protected as well, You feel secure. Secure emotionally and maybe even financially kapag ka
Yes,
nag-uumpisa ka,
oo.
syempre, 'di ba, bayad ng renta,
Ayun.
bayad ng, 'di ba, pati outfit mo,
Sila
'di ba?
na-
So
sila susundo
sila
sa
yung
airport
susundo
sa'yo.
sa- Oo, tama
Sila
yun.
nag-prepare ng bahay,
Yes.
room for you.
wow, ang galing naman kasi alam mo you're embracing actually our fellow Filipinos, Marites and Tirso through your company, making parang you blanket over them na uy, wag ka mawawala na po as our hope nandito kami, 'di ba? Ang galing sandalan ng INS. Okay, what about the Schengen countries or can we talk about the Schengen
Actually, yung Schengen
Countries.
visa is actually more of a tourist or a business
tourist.
visa. Good
Okay.
for 90 days.
Uh-huh.
So they're not actually that open for immigration for permanent resident visa. But we actually open this kasi maraming nag-a-apply for tourist or business purpose.
business purposes?
Once you are given the visa for any Schengen country. So you can use that visa for all the 24 Schengen territories.
Right, oo.
Yes, yan ang
oo.
maganda doon.
Meron silang policy na ganon.
Oo, yan.
Okay.
So, admitted ka na.
Admitted
But
ka na dun
kung
sa-
saan ka nag-apply na visa, dapat yun ang first entry mo.
Okay.
Okay.
Ano bang ilan sa mga countries kasi sabi mo 25 yata? Can you name
25.
a few?
Italy,
Italy,
yan,
Ireland,
Spain, Belgium,
Belgium,
Sweden,
Iceland, Switzerland,
Switzerland,
Luxembourg. Naku, yan yung mga
Actually,
pangarap
marami.
ko bansa. Ang dami. Pati Ireland, no? Kasama doon ng Ireland.
Ireland. Ay, no.
Ay, hindi ba?
Ireland, hindi pa. Oo.
Hindi pa.
The Northern Ireland is part of the UK.
Okay.
But yung Ireland lang is still, may sarili silang...
May
Norway
sarili silang-
yata, sir.
Norway.
kasama.
Norway.
Ireland, hindi
You said
pa.
Belgium also, no? Belgium also. Kasi alam mo, sumisikat ngayon ang Ireland. Yun ang napapansin ko sa aking mga friends kasi gustong pumunta na rin sa Ireland.
Hindi siya part ng Schengen.
Pero hindi siya
territory.
part ng Schengen countries. Okay. Do you also do services? Kasi nabanggit natin yung mga bansa na yan. How about countries, local, not local, in Asia? Meron din ba kayong mga services for people who would like to go to Asia? Wala pa.
More on European.
More on
countries
European
talaga.
and Western,
Yes.
yung
Yes,
Western bound, Western bound, North America. Eto lang kasi sabi mo, Tirso, also inbound, di ba inbound immigration lawyer ka. Ano naman yung mga common na mga predicaments or mga dilemma na encounter ng mga papasok naman ng Pilipinas?
Actually, sa statistics namin, mas maraming lumalabas kaysa pumapasok.
Ay, ganun ba?
Kasi as a member of the Bureau of Immigration, Accredited Migration Representative, mga kliyente namin, mga foreigners.
Okay.
Of course, ang pinakamaraming visa dito sa Bureau of Immigration are those foreigners who were married to a Filipina.
Okay.
So yun, they're applying for a permanent resident visa because of the benefit of being married to a Filipina. Some are investors visa, marami. Yung mga foreigners investing.
Investors
here.
visa.
Mga investors visa. But more of a tourist visa.
Okay.
Yan, mga tourist visa ang fina-file namin. At mabilis ang Bureau of Immigration kapag mag-process niyan.
Yes.
Pero yun nga lang, mas marami pa rin yung umaalis kaysa pumapasok
Pasok ng
in terms
ating
of
mas-
immigrant visa.
In terms of immigrant visa. Pero maganda yun kasi parang vis-a-vis nung paglabas naman ng ating mga kababayan para naman
Papalitan.
napapalitan naman ng mga galing naman, mga foreigners who would like also to sojourn in the Philippines,
Yes.
diba? And napakagandang development nun. All right, I wish I could have you longer but I am inviting you to both come back again kasi napaka-interesante ng ating topic and I'm sure that a lot of our viewers who are watching us right now na hindi nakapag-text or nakatawag are still thinking of or maybe deciding kung ano ang gagawin nila kaya hindi pa nagtanong. Pero saan nila matatagpuan si Miss Marites Madrid na branch coordinator ng INS?
So, punta kayo dun sa room 407, La Azotea Building. Bali, third floor kami. Third floor ng La Azotea Building sa Upper Session Road. So, if you want to call us, you can call 446-4821 or you can text or call us at 0915-407-1477 kung may mga inquiries kayo.
Okay, so ang landline is 4464
4821.
4821 and hanapin lang po si Ma'am Tess or meron ka bang ibang kasama doon?
Si Carlo.
Si Carlo. Si Carlo. Ang gwapong-gwapong si Carlo. Dapat sa susunod ay isa lang natin siya dito. Okay. And para po sa inyong migration needs, outbound or inbound. And of course, Tirso, you're going back to Manila in a few minutes. Hiniram ka lang namin. It is such an honor. We're so elated to have you, Tirso. Meron ka bang mga few words to give out to our televiewers regarding whether may problema sila o wala or magkakaroon pa lang pagdating sa migration?
Yes. Again, we would like to encourage you na in the process of deciding of going out of the country. So we would like to encourage you to get the services of Immigration Network services. And it's really a pleasure for us to be here.
Yes.
Great. Of course, bahagi na kayo ng Sky TV family with you sponsoring, of course, Entrepreneur and our major shows here. Maraming salamat sa pagpapaunlak sa aming imbitasyon. Para po sa ating mga kababayan, lalo na dito sa Baguio, La Trinidad area, no, na nakikinig sa atin ngayon. But of course, do you have a branch in La Union yet? Wala pa, Pangasinan?
Wala pa. Actually, meron kami sa Dagupan.
Dagupan, meron din.
Meron din Lawag.
Ordineta.
Okay.
Ordaneta.
Ordaneta. Meron din sa Pampanga. And then pa-Manila na yan.
Pa-Manila na. So, meron
Up
din
to
pala sa Dagupan. Mm-mm.
Visayas and Mindanao.
Up to
meron
Visayas
din.
and Mindanao. Okay. So, anyway, malapit lang naman ang La Trinidad. Mga kababayan natin from Mountain
Yes,
Province na I think karamihan sa iyong mga kliyente ay galing sa Mountain Province,
Yes,
di ba?
oo.
Okay. And tangkilikin niyo po ang Immigration Network Services Incorporated, taking the migraine out of migration. And ang sinasabi nga natin, devoid of delays and devoid of denials.